What is up, everybody? Today we're going to be going through a process that many realtors do not want to share. They gatekeep this, but I am opening this up to you. There are no secrets to be held. I'm going to be holding nothing back as to how to find deals on the MLS. Now, there are other ways that you can actually search for deals that are not necessarily on the MLS, and that we'll go through in another video. But today we're going to be looking specifically at MLS services. I am going to be holding nothing back. We're going to not gatekeep nothing, and I'm going to arm you guys with a system that you can actually follow in at least finding the property that you feel could be a target. And I love to use the word target. So a target is a property that you can actually gain some equity before even moving in. You're going to actually be trying to get this for under market value. Just be sure to stick around and watch the whole video right through the end so that you can pick up all the steps. I will actually be going through the steps live so that we can sort of get an idea as to how or what is the best way to find deals. Now, there are other things that you could possibly do, but this is my preliminary phase of how I find properties of value, and I hope that this arms you guys in your real estate journey. So let's get into it. Hi, I'm Paul Sawhney. I am a realtor, mortgage specialist, and real estate investor here in the GTA. If you are interested in getting into the real estate market, this is the first video that will at least allow you to start narrowing down properties on your shortlist. If you have any other questions regarding mortgages, real estate, it's a free consultation via my Calendly link. There is no cost to you. You do not need to use my services. You can just have a general discussion about whatever you may be thinking, and I will be happy to assist. Let's get into it. So the first thing that I'm going to need you guys to do is download this app. It is available on Google Play, your Apple Store. It is House Sigma. This is the icon that you would find. This is a very powerful real estate tool, and there are other apps that you can use that do provide very similar information. And the key here is the information. It lets us understand what is going on. You're not going to necessarily know the personal story behind why a property is potentially being listed for. So the idea here is to try and get a feeling as to what could be happening with this particular property, especially during times like now where we have high interest rates, low affordability, and so people who cannot afford to continue with the sticker shock that they've received for their mortgages, for their mortgage payments, and now have no choice but to sell. That is the majority of the situations that you will see, but it doesn't necessarily mean that that is all. So here is the homepage of your app, and basically, for mobile, obviously it'll be a different format. We're just doing this on desktop here, but you would want to be able to go straight into map search. The thing that you're going to want to be able to do here is pick a location. So the first thing you're going to want to do when you open up this app is open the map search to the area in which you are interested in buying a property. This is going to give you a really good idea of what is happening in your particular area, and a little bit outside if there's an area that you wouldn't mind necessarily going to. You're going to want to be able to select your filters. If there are certain things that you want in a property, definitely select those. Just for this video's purpose, we're going to do freeholds, semis, and detached homes. Set a price range. So for now, again, I'll just max the price range just so that we can see what happened just in the last day. Now, the next thing is, as you're doing searches in certain areas, you're going to get homes that will show up in your recommended list, and you will also be able to put homes into a watch list, perhaps in certain areas. You can organize them based on geographical locations, and you will then start getting notifications. You can also set up these notifications so that you are told when a property has actually been sold, and then you will be able to get a really good understanding where the market has transitioned, whether it's maintained, reduced, increased. Unfortunately, when a home sells for far below list, it is still going to affect the market price of all homes in future. So here I'm going to show you an example of a property in Oshawa. This was one property that I actually had selected for a client of mine. We were watching it, and it actually was sold conditional, and now officially has sold. You want to first be able to look at the history of the property and see how many times it's been listed and when it was potentially sold. Now here you'll be able to see that this home was purchased in May of 2021 and it actually sold for $890,000. The first step that I do is very quickly look at when it was bought. Now you can see actually they've tried to lease this property, and you can see what they were trying to get in 2023 of October for $1,080,000. So now you can see they're trying to obviously get a higher price. Attached homes here, you'll be able to see where home prices were. You've got an $822,000 median price, and you can see actually that we are below that median price. So if you look, they actually got a good price for their home. Now the main thing you're going to look at is it's a 3-bedroom, plus 2 bedrooms, meaning that the basement is done. How many bathrooms? Look at all of this. It's also very important to look at the building age as well as the lot size so that you're able to try and compare apples to apples. So that's one thing. The next thing you're going to want to do is very quickly take a look at what the home looked like when it was purchased. And so if it hasn't changed, it's good. If it has changed, that's also fine to see and justify values when perhaps they have the home listed for far greater. They may have done further things to the property to help with the values. So again, we're going to take a look here of what is happening now within that area to see what's listed. So here you'll be able to see just, on the same street, you've got 2 newer homes, same thing. Now these are a bit larger. You've got a 4+1 and you've got a 4+2 bedroom. One home is listed for almost $250,000 more than that was just sold, and we've got one for about $100,000 over. So let's very quickly look at what's going on here. Again, look at all the history on this property. You'll be able to see they sold this property in 2021 in March, then shifted again in July. Now again, your realtor will be able to advise you as to if the deal didn't go through and then resold. This one looks like it possibly had to get relisted. And so anyways, it sold for $999 and then it actually sold for $1,092,000. And then there's that lease. So you can see when it's a rental property, that perhaps they want to be able to get out. Maybe they've rented the basement out. You can also take a look at the details here to see, yes, it is a basement that they're trying to rent. You can read the details here. They need that money potentially to subsidize their costs. So again, these people have listed several times. So the next thing that's very important to look at is when they've listed their property to when they've relisted it. So you can see they've suspended this 3 times because they had no activity. And the reality is when homes don't have activity, it's because it's priced too high and no one has necessarily jumped on the opportunity. So you could see in October they had it listed at 1.235 down to 1.185. So they dropped it 50 grand there. And then they listed it for $1,075,000, dropping it almost $110,000. And now, I guess they were trying to probably get a multi-bid on there to market it lower. Now they've got it listed at $1,098,000. They don't have the details of the property's lot size. Again, your realtor will be able to pull that up. They will be able to provide you with those details. You want to be able to compare your properties apples to apples. Just quickly look at why is this person selling this home for 1.2 and a half. Very quickly look at what's happened. So this person bought it in 2005. Wow, those are dream prices. Doesn't happen anymore. And then in 2017 it was sold. Now you see, look at that 2023, they've got it suspended at $1 million. Then they actually expired. You can see the dates that they're ending. Make sure to keep an eye on those. So about 2 months later, 2.5 months later, they put it back at 1.2 and it expired. Now they're at 1.250. They're thinking that the market has actually jumped a bit. Let's see what happens. But what you do need to look at is that this is, again, very similar to the home that sold for $1 million. Let's look at the estimate of square footage. So the one that just sold here, this property is only 1,500 to 2,000 square feet. And we can get the exact square footage. Sometimes they write that in the description here. And here you can see right there, MPAC square foot at 1,984 square feet. Another thing that you need to keep an eye out for is that, especially because it's the beginning of 2024, many people who had their homes listed in 2023 towards the end of the year and then took their homes off the market for the holiday season and now are relisting. So it is important to be able to see, hey, did they do a price decrease? If you see a price decrease, to be able to see how much the home value has been decreased. If you see that the home value has decreased significantly, like $100,000, the chances are these homeowners are quite desperate in trying to offload the property. If they've had the home listed multiple times and it's listed pretty much at the same price throughout, that type of seller is just feeling out the market, trying to get what they want. The reality is, if something is selling at 1.250 and it's been listed 5 times at the same price, the homeowner is not as desperate as you might think. The idea here is to be able to take advantage of somebody else's financial situation, unfortunately, so that you can gain equity. So I'll just quickly look at, a random property here out in Oshawa, for instance. So you've got a home, again, a little bit smaller. Those are about 40 foot wide by 109. It's been on the market for 13 days. Let's take a look at the history. Not much history. They just had it listed at 1170. Now they've brought it down 70 grand. So still, it's going to show, it's telling us that's quite a steep decline for this price point. Now, your realtor will be able to give you even more information on the history of the property, but at least this is giving you something. You're shortlisting these properties to be able to present to your realtor to be able to negotiate for you aggressively. So what are the things that you need to be able to look at? First, you download House Sigma. Number 2 is going to be take a look at the history of the property. Next step is going to be that you understand the per square foot value. So say a home is listed at $1.2 million. You divide that by the square footage of the property. Let's say in this case it's 2,000 square feet. That means that the cost per square foot is about $600 a foot. So when you look at the property type, you want to be able to say, hey, is it a detached home, semi-detached townhome? That's going to play a factor. And the next thing is going to be to determine how many bedrooms there are. Is the basement finished? How many bathrooms there are? That adds value also. Another thing you need to look at is when the property was first sold. If you actually do see that listing, you should go into the pictures to be able to determine what has happened to that property. Has the property changed in any such way? At least from the pictures to get an idea. 97% of home buyers are actually using the internet to find their property. So why aren't you? It's not necessarily about just finding the property online, but it's also about doing a brief analysis so that you're able to get an understanding of that particular home. At that point, you're not going to be taken advantage of by a realtor. You need to be able to take over that situation, because at the end of the day, it's you who needs to make those monthly obligations. I hope you found this video of value. Please do like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell if you like the content that I provided. And make sure to share this video with somebody who is on their real estate journey and may benefit from this video. Until then, stay curious, stay informed on your real estate journey.